Louise Lasser, the actress best known for playing the title character on Norman Lear's groundbreaking soap opera satire Mary Hartman, died of natural causes at her Manhattan home on Monday at the age of 87. She is survived by her longtime partner, Michael Citriniti. Demure and soft-spoken in person, Lasser proved a perfect balance to Woody Allen's neurotic film persona. She was married to him from 1966 to 1970 and starred alongside him in his early films, including Take the Money and Run and Bananas. In 1967, she became the first woman to win a Clio Award, the advertising industry's highest honor, for her work in a Florida orange juice commercial. Her defining role came in 1976 when she was cast as Mary Hartman, an overwhelmed Ohio housewife navigating absurd disasters in a show that aired 5 nights a week and made Lasser a household name, landing her on the covers of Newsweek, People, and Rolling Stone. The plotline for Mary to suffer a mental breakdown was her own idea. She left the series in 1977 after 325 episodes, exhausted by the pace. In the decades that followed, she continued acting in smaller roles and teaching at her own studio on the Upper East Side. Her final film appearance was in 2022 in Owen Klein's dark comedy Funny Pages. Marjan Berk, the Dutch writer, actress, and columnist who spent more than 6 decades entertaining her country through novels, television, and the stage, died on July 5, 2026, in Amsterdam. She was 93 years old and would have turned 94 just 6 days later. Born in Zeist in 1932, she trained as a nurse before being admitted to the Amsterdam Theatre School in her early 20s. A pivot that set the course of her entire life. She built a long career in cabaret, theater, musical, and television, becoming a familiar face to Dutch audiences through the children's series Webbele in the 1960s and 1970s. Her greatest television achievement came in the 1990s with Vrouwenvleugel, a groundbreaking drama set inside a women's prison, which won the Gouden Televisiering, the Netherlands' top television prize, in 1994. She published her first book in 1981 and went on to write more than 40 novels, story collections, and children's books, earning the nickname from the magazine Opzicht of Queen of Light Literature. She wrote columns for Dutch newspapers and magazines for over 40 years, becoming the oldest active columnist in the Netherlands before stepping back from her regular slot in 2022. In 2007, she won €1 million in the National Lottery, using part of the prize to buy a piano, which she later gave to a granddaughter. Her final book, Hofdames, appeared in November 2025 and was inspired by the historic Amsterdam almshouse where she had lived since 2016. She is survived by 5 children, 8 grandchildren, and 3 great-grandchildren. Slane Kelly, the Irish actress best known for her role as Jane Howard in Showtime's historical drama The Tudors, died on July 4, 2026, at her home in Dublin after a battle with cancer. She was 43 years old. Kelly began her career in Irish short film, earning nominations at the Irish Film and Television Awards in 2005, before building a wide-ranging career across television, independent film, and commercial work, including a lead role in a widely seen Barry's Tea advertisement filmed in Ireland and Thailand. She appeared in an episode of The Tudors as Jane Howard, an alleged mistress of King Henry VIII. Beyond acting, she co-wrote, produced, and starred in the independent Irish feature The O'Briens, a family comedy filmed in Galway that premiered at the Newport Beach Film Festival in 2013 and won the Outstanding Achievement in Filmmaking Award. Her other screen credits included Come Down, Sket, and Rise of the Foot Soldier. Part 2, for which she received a National Film Awards UK nomination for Best Supporting Actress in 2016. Outside of her screen work, she helped found St. Anne's City Farm in Dublin. She is survived by her son Knox, her parents Marion and Joe, and her brother Dara. Kocho Kendro, considered the longest living and one of the last remaining active figures of Albanian cinema and theatre, died on July 4, 2026 in Korça, the city where he had spent his entire artistic life. He was 99 years old, just weeks short of his 100th birthday. Born in the village of Seneca near Delvina in 1927, Kendro joined the National Liberation War as a partisan at the age of 15, eventually rising to the rank of officer. After more than a decade of military and political duties, he turned to the stage, becoming one of the founding members of the professional estrade company of Korça in 1960, and later a permanent member of the Andon Zako Chajupi Theatre, where he performed for decades. He was best known for his portrayal of Harpagon in Molière's The Miser, a role he performed twice, first in 1976 and again in 2005 at the age of nearly 80, winning the Best Actor award at the Apollon Festival in Fear. Over the course of his career, he was decorated with 6 medals and 3 state orders, including the Naim Frasheri Order, and was named Ambassador of the Korça region in recognition of his contributions to Albanian culture. He also dedicated years to building the archive and museum of Korça's theatrical heritage. True to the modesty that defined him throughout his life, he left instructions that his funeral be simple and private, held without public ceremony. He died just 1 year before he would have reached a century. Byron Holmberg, a Swedish actor who became one of the most recognizable character faces in Swedish popular cinema of the late 20th century, died on July 3, 2026 in Sweden. He was 91 years old, born in 1935 in the Gamlestaden district of Gothenburg. Holmberg spent much of his career on stage at the Folkteatern in Gothenburg, while building a parallel screen career that spanned more than 20 films and television productions over 4 decades. He was best known to Swedish audiences for his role as Robban Söderberg in Lasse Åberg's beloved 1980 comedy Sällskapsresan, one of the most commercially successful Swedish films ever made, and for his recurring role as Biffen in the long-running Jönssonligan comedy franchise, a part he reprised across 5 films between 1981 and 2000. He was also a committed political figure, an open communist, and longtime symbol of the radical left in Gothenburg. His cultural footprint in the city extended beyond film. Comedian Robert Gustafsson's recurring character, Wyron in the television sketch show Nile City, was loosely based on him, and in 2015 a Gothenburg tram was named in his honor. His daughter Lena described him as full of joy for life and devoted to his family. He is survived by her and other members of his family. Fernando Cliche, a Uruguayan-born actor who became one of the most familiar faces on Chilean television over 4 decades, died on July 3, 2026. He was 71 years old. Born in Uruguay on October 8, 1954, Cliche trained as a veterinarian and practiced the profession in England before a stopover visit to his father in Chile changed the course of his life entirely. His father, Walter Cliche, was himself a successful Chilean actor who was appearing in the popular telenovela La Madrastra at the time. What was meant to be a brief stay en route to Spain became permanent when director Arturo Moya Grau spotted him and told him he was not going anywhere. Cliche made his acting debut in the Canal 13 telenovela Casa Grande and went on to build a long career in Chilean television, theater, and streaming productions, earning recognition for his work in Marrón Glacé, Champaña, and Buen Partido, and becoming a regular presence on Chilevisión. His industry guild, Chile Actores, remembered him as an actor who moved with mastery between drama and comedy. At the time of his death, he had just joined the cast of Mega's new telenovela Prohibida Obsesión, but was forced to withdraw roughly 6 weeks earlier after being diagnosed with aggressive pancreatic cancer, having already filmed 22 scenes. His son Ignacio paid tribute to him publicly, writing that the distance between them never mattered, and thanking him for teaching his children to be honest and never to betray themselves. Susana Freire, an Argentine actress whose career spanned the golden age of Latin American cinema through 6 decades of film, theater, and television, died on July 2, 2026 in São Paulo, Brazil, where she had been living to be close to her son. She was 96 years old. Born in Rosario on September 5, 1929, as Susana Guenola Zubiri, she made her screen debut in 1945 and went on to appear in more than 30 films and television productions across Argentina, Brazil, Mexico, and Venezuela. She was married to director Carlos Hugo Christensen, who directed most of her early films and with whom she relocated to Mexico during part of his career. Her most celebrated screen role came in the 1963 film Paula Cautiva, in which she played an aristocrat navigating circumstances far beneath her station, a performance that earned her the Silver Condor Award for Best Actress in 1964, Argentina's most prestigious film honor. Her film Three Loves in Rio was selected to screen at the Berlin International Film Festival. On stage, she performed at the Teatro Nacional Cervantes in Buenos Aires and found significant success in Brazil in the early 1960s with the play The Miracle of Anne Sullivan. In television, she became a familiar presence across decades of Argentine productions, remembered especially for Matrimonios y Algo Más and Entre el Amor y el Poder. In 2013, the Argentine Actors Association and the National Senate jointly awarded her the Premio Podestá for Lifetime Achievement. She is remembered by her peers as one of the most versatile and enduring artists of her generation. Hikaru Kurosaki, the Japanese actor and stuntman best known for playing the title hero in the 1985 tokusatsu series Kyoju Tokusou Juspion, died on July 2, 2026, in Motobu, Okinawa, Japan. He was 64 years old. Born Siki Kurosaki on January 31, 1962, in Sakai, Osaka Prefecture, he joined the Japan Action Club, the elite stunt and martial arts school founded by Sonny Chiba at the age of 16, inspired by watching Chiba's television work. He spent his early years performing stunt work on several tokusatsu productions before making his formal acting debut in 1980 and building toward the role that would define his career. Juspion, produced by TodaY and airing in Japan between 1985 and 1986, told the story of a fearless space hero battling a galactic demon aboard a giant robot. The series found a moderate audience in Japan, but became a genuine cultural phenomenon in Brazil, where it was broadcast beginning in 1988, and across Latin America, where it helped open the door for an entire generation of Japanese superhero programming. The iconic transformation pose Kurosaki performed before battle was his own invention. He met actress Yuko Asuka on the set of the series Bioman in 1984. The two married in 1987 and together founded a diving operation on Okinawa called Mother Earth. After retiring from acting in the mid-1990s, Kurosaki spent more than 2 decades in Motobu working as a professional diving instructor, living quietly and far from the spotlight. His wife died in 2011. The cause of his death was not publicly disclosed. Kjell Nilsson, the Swedish-born weightlifter and actor best known for playing the masked villain Lord Humongous in George Miller's 1981 post-apocalyptic film Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior, died on July 2, 2026 in Queensland, Australia after a 4-year battle with kidney disease. He was 76 years old. Born in Gothenburg, Sweden on December 19, 1949, Nilsson was an Olympic-class weightlifter who moved to Australia in 1980 to train Swedish athletes for the Moscow Olympics. It was there that he met actress Kate Ferguson, whom he later married. She encouraged him to stay in Australia and pursue work in its film industry. His imposing physique, standing over 6 feet 2 inches and built through decades of elite training, made him an ideal choice for the role of Humongous, the hockey-masked warlord who leads a roving army of marauders against a besieged settler compound. Time magazine's critic Richard Corliss wrote at the time that in Nilsson's portrayal, malevolence seemed to course through his very body. The character, also known in the film as the Ayatollah of Rock and Rolla, became one of cinema's most imitated villain designs, influencing decades of post-apocalyptic imagery in film, television, and video games. After Mad Max 2, Nilsson appeared in a handful of additional productions including The Pirate Movie, 1982, and The Edge of Power, 1987. Decades before his death, severe blood clotting in his legs forced him to choose between amputation and keeping his legs with serious long-term consequences. Through what his family described as unrelenting willpower, he chose to keep them and eventually walked again. He is survived by his 5 sons. His family's statement closed with words drawn from his most famous role, "Be still, my dogs of war." Tibor Szilágyi, one of Hungary's most celebrated stage and screen actors, died on July 2, 2026 in Budapest, surrounded by his family. He was 83 years old. Born in Budapest on August 28, 1942, he graduated from the University of Theatre and Film Arts in 1965 and went on to build one of the most extensive careers in Hungarian performing arts history, appearing in more than 150 stage roles and over 120 films and television productions across 6 decades. His stage work took him through nearly every major Hungarian theatre, including the Katona József Theatre in Kecskemét, the National Theatre, the Víg Színház, and the Ujjai Színház, and he served as artistic director of the Petőfi Theatre in Sopron from 2003 to 2007. He was also a successful director and published 2 volumes of poetry. On screen, he became a household presence in Hungary through roles in celebrated films including Szegényi Legények and the beloved comedy franchise Üvegtigris, in which his portrayal of the hunting master Ozzy made him a nationally quoted figure. His distinctive deep voice made him one of Hungary's most prolific dubbing artists as well, lending his voice to actors including Walter Matthau and Jean Reno across decades of releases, and voicing Count Dooku in the Hungarian editions of the Star Wars films. In 2007, he was awarded the Kossuth Prize, Hungary's highest cultural honor, in recognition of his acting and directing work. He was also a Jászai Mári Prize laureate, a designated merited and outstanding artist of Hungary, and a permanent member of the Immortal Society of Hungarian Theatre. His funeral is scheduled for July 16th in Budapest. Jean-Pierre Tagliaferri, the French actor best known as a recurring presence in the popular comedies of the French comedy trio Les Inconnus, died on July 2, 2026 in the early hours of the morning. He was 77 years old. Born on September 27, 1948, Tagliaferri came to acting by one of the more unlikely routes in French cinema. Before he ever set foot on a film set, he had served time in prison following a conviction as an armed robber. After his release, he rebuilt his life entirely, first working as a sports coach, then moving through Parisian artistic circles where he formed friendships that would change his path. A close bond with actor Didier Bourdon, one-third of Les Inconnus, alongside Bernard Campan and Pascal Legitimus, brought him to the screen for the first time in 1997 when he appeared in the comedy Le Paris as an unexpectedly muscular yoga instructor. The role launched a long collaboration with Bourdon and his circle. Tagliaferri went on to appear in Les Rois Mages, 7 ans de mariage, and Les Trois Frères, Le Retour in 2014, becoming a familiar and warmly received face in French popular comedy. His agent, announcing his death on social media, wrote that he was a man life had battered but never defeated, and that he brought a rare authenticity to his characters because he knew what real life truly looked like. Yasmin, the Indian-born Pakistani actress known for her work during the golden age of Pakistani cinema, died in 2026 at the age of 90. Born Amina Begum on May 1, 1936 in Bombay, British India, she made her screen debut at the age of 13 when director A.R. Kardar, impressed by her self-confidence and passion, cast her in a supporting role in the 1949 Urdu film Dilagi. She completed her work on the film even as the partition of India unfolded around her, then migrated with her family to Lahore, Pakistan in 1950. Working initially under the screen names Zarina Reshma and Reshma, she built her career in the newly established Pakistani film industry, appearing in films written by literary figures including Saadat Hassan Manto. She later adopted the screen name Yasmin and rose to prominence as a leading actress through the 1950s and 1960s, becoming recognized especially for her aptitude for tragic roles. Her first major lead role came in the 1956 Punjabi film Moni. She was married twice. First to cameraman and director Jafar Bukhari, who cast her in several of his productions, and later to film director Syed Shaukat Hussain Rizvi, the former husband of the legendary singer Noor Jahan. Her career spanned more than 2 decades and included dozens of Urdu and Punjabi productions. She is survived by 3 sons. Yosif Surchadziev, one of Bulgaria's most celebrated stage and film actors, died on July 1, 2026 in Sofia. He was 81 years old. Born on May 2, 1945 in Sofia, he came from a family at the very center of Bulgarian theatrical life. His father, Stefan Sarchadziev, founded the Sofia Satirical Theater and directed at the Ivan Vazov National Theater, while his mother was the daughter of a prominent lawyer and politician. Surchadziev made his screen debut as a child of 7 in the 1952 film Our Land, directed by his own father, and went on to build a career spanning more than 6 decades, more than 50 feature films, 60 theater roles, 30 television productions, and over 100 radio programs. His most internationally recognized screen appearances include the historical epic Khan Asparu, the landmark film Time of Violence, 1988, and the drama Wrathful Journey. After suffering a severe stroke in 2004, he recovered over many years and returned to remain active into his late 70s, earning the Vasil Gendov Award for Best Supporting Actor in 2022 for his performance in January and receiving a special award from the Union of Bulgarian Filmmakers the same year. He also received the Grand Askir Award for Lifetime Achievement in 2010, the highest recognition in Bulgarian theater. True to the spirit he expressed publicly in his final years, that death should be met with love rather than fear, he requested that his funeral be held privately, attended only by close family and friends, asking to be remembered not for his passing, but for his presence in Bulgarian cultural life.